Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 19th to the 25th of September 2016. We're coming out of the big Pisces full moon and towards the equinox, so we're travelling here from the moon to the sun. Many people in the modern world work with the moon cycles, but quite a few forget that there's actually a solar calendar as well, and that the real calendar is both lunar and solar. So when we come to the autumn equinox, it's when the sun passes over the point between Virgo and Libra, and Libra is the sign of balance. So this often calls us inwards. We're going into the last 6 signs of the zodiac. We're going into our inner world, into our winter. So we need to balance the outer and the inner, the higher and the lower, the masculine, the feminine, and the sun and the moon energies. And if we've been paying attention to the messages that have been brought up by both the full moon eclipse and the Mercury retrograde, then we have plenty to balance. It's been a very intense year with lots of things coming up, with the Mercury retrogrades in the earth signs teaching us about love, value, money, safety, security, attachment, and bringing us to a point of hopefully clarity and freedom. So as we enter the autumn equinox, which is a 3-day affair from the 21st to the 24th of September, we go into a personal ritual. So with the 3-day affair, we have the letting go is first day, having a look backwards, seeing what we're ready to let go of, what have we learnt, and what do we need to tie up those loose ends. And then the second day is one of purity, and just holding the space. And then the third day, we should feel more cleansed and ready to go on a new adventure. Having cleared some room, we've got broad horizons and we've got some space to move. So the equinox is a solar affair, but it's very important that we honour that as well as the moon cycles. So what have we learned? It's been an interesting one to have a full moon so near the autumn equinox during a Mercury retrograde. So the full moon in Pisces was opposite Mercury retrograde in Virgo. So for a couple of weeks now, if not a couple of months, we've been exploring reality versus fantasy, the possible versus the impossible, and where our mental constructs and concepts need to be changed in order that we can work more from the greater part of ourselves, from the imagination, and create the magic first before restricting it with limited thought forms and beliefs. So Mercury actually turns direct on the middle day of the equinox as the sun goes into Libra. So this is Thursday the 22nd. We've got 3 things going on. Mercury turning direct, the equinox point as sun goes into Libra. And we get ready to journey into the inner months, the winter months, and make those calibrations. So what have we learnt during this Mercury phase? Well, Mercury went into Virgo at the end of July, and then passed the retrograde point on the 10th of August, turned retrograde at the end of August, so the end of July to the end of August was the first phase of awareness. So what awareness have we received? We're dealing with the higher processing mind, we're dealing with where our thoughts turn into actions, turn into reality and create our world. We're dealing with productivity, but we're also dealing with self-limitation, negative thought, judgment versus discernment. So from the end of July to the end of August, there may have been things come up to do with perspective, to do with self-limitation, self-doubt, low self-esteem, or having plans that are too limited based on a over-practical view of how we create our future. Then from the end of August to the 22nd, to Thursday, the equinox, we've had the retrograde phase. So have a look. Have you changed the way that you think? Have you changed your perception? Have you created more from the imagination? Have you let go of control? Have you surrendered into the possibility of greater things? With Virgo being the mind and the mind-body connection, there is a certain amount of surrender necessary both on the mental, physical and emotional planes. So control is really the key word here. Virgo likes to control things and sow the right seed at the right time, do all the little pieces to bring everything to the harvest, but it can get overproductive and over-planning and over-controlling and almost bring us that view of we control the future, we control all the steps ahead of us. But yet this isn't actually the case. As we know, many times in our lifetimes we've tried to do something, we've tried to plan something, and it's actually gone differently. Sometimes the seeds grow, sometimes they wither. So letting go of that control, being more present in the moment, and actually reconnecting with the energy, with the juice of the project, with the joy, with the motivation rather than having to super control and hyper manage it forwards, has been one of the lessons with this retrograde phase. So as we step forward over Thursday into the weekend through this 3-day initiation, which is the autumn equinox, we are now going direct, and Mercury will leave Virgo on the 8th of October. So this is phase 3, this is the greater awareness, this is the realise that we have made alterations, we've changed certain perceptions, we've started to engage more with the joy of our life and with the potential that we have. And our plans should be bigger now, less controlled, but full of possibility and magnificence. So working with this from the 22nd, which is this Thursday, to the 8th of October, can we allow our vision to just float out with potential and not have to actually put it in a structure just yet? Can we actually see that we don't have to work so hard, but we can have a bigger vision and allow that to unfold? Can we let go of physical, mental and emotional over-controlling and actually get back to the heart of who we are, what we've come here to be, and how we can radiate that out into the world and allow that to open up the doors in its own time. By the time we get to Friday, we have Venus entering Scorpio, so this calls for a great deal of emotional integrity. Scorpio is the darkest month of the year, and it's the inner subconscious dark waters. So when Venus goes into Scorpio, we take our heart and we actually go and explore anything in the depths, in the subconscious of our emotions. So it's a journey of exploration. This is part of the equinox as well. Very important that this is coming at this time. Can we be honest with ourselves, with our motivations, with our wants, with our needs, and with any manipulative behaviour patterns that we have in place to get what we want? Can we have a look at emotions that aren't serving us based on fear and need rather than love and joy? So for the next few weeks with Venus and Scorpio, integrity, inner exploration, having a look at where we're coming from, and this will be worth it, because then once we've done this work we will be very purified inside, and that is actually what will make some of our plans and some of our desires more possible, because we'll be coming from a more integrated place. So with the equinox and Venus in Scorpio, there's an integration, there's a calibration, there's a fusion of opposites and a union of composites if we can find the balance within. And finally we come to a glorious weekend where the Sun meets with Jupiter in Libra. Libra is the sign of harmony and grace. Opposite Aries, which is the I am, Libra is the we are. But the we that we're talking about is our inner and outer self. It's that balancing point, it's the scales. So when the Sun and Jupiter meet once a year, it's a double golden energy, because the Sun represents our life force energy and Jupiter is our sovereignty and our magnificence. So imagine those two golden, huge energies meeting in the harmonious and graceful sign of Libra. This is about acceptance, finding the balance and radiating out peace and joy and love and creativity. So even though we've got Venus going into Scorpio, which is a deep inner exploration, that shouldn't feel too hard, because by the weekend and the beginning of next week we have this golden energy in place. We can bask in the splendour, the sacred union of these two energies, and we can charge up and begin to own our power. So Venus may show us where we've been disempowered, where we've let other people take our power, or where we've given it away, because Scorpio is very much the sign of the use or abuse of power, raising that energy and opening the crown or the pineal glands. So it's the alchemical journey. So if we go in on Friday and have a look at where we feel disempowered, or where we feel that we have to fight and struggle and manipulate, then by the time we get to Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we should be able to clear that out and feel majestic in our own space. So a very complicated but quite gentle week here. Lots going on. Mercury coming out of retrograde, so it's worth looking back to see how your perceptions have changed and how you've actually managed to grow, where you've needed to surrender and let go of control, and where you know that you can now rely on your bigger self, your subconscious, your imagination, the all space of the dream world, where you came from, where you go to, the inspiration of the 95% realm that we can't see through the physical senses. So if we've let go, if we've allowed those changes to happen, then we're stepping over through the equinox with the rebalance of the sun going into Libra, helping us to recalibrate and get ready for the winter months. Venus bravely going into Scorpio to do any final clearing, and then Jupiter and the sun meeting at the end of the week. We should start to feel quite resplendent. If we've taken the journey, if we've done the work, then we're heading towards a really different landscape. We've unlocked the doors, we're stepping through, we've got broad horizons, and we're much more self-knowing. We're much more empowered as a result of all the work that 2016 has asked us to do so far. So those are the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week. This is always such a wonderful back-to-school feeling that we get at the time of the autumn equinox. So I've created a few new study opportunities for anybody that would like to engage as the nights draw in and we get more curious. So firstly, there's my full astrological course. And what I've realised is that not everybody wants to take a whole 1 to 3 years worth of learning astrology. So I now offer you the option to just do modules 1, 2 and 3 as a foundation. These are very intuitive and they'll give you the good basis for intuitive soul astrology. The first module is to do with working with the sun. The second, creating a personal lunar planner, so working with the moon cycles. And the third, working with the elements and the seasons and the herbs and crystals and the calendar and bringing that all together. So if you would like to step out and start to learn astrology, that's a simple way of doing it. Just 3 modules over a 3 to 6 month period will give you all the grounding you need to carry on your studies at your own pace. You can then continue the whole course, but it's fine if you stop there. I've also created a monthly tarot meetup. So this is going to be once a month in London, and it's an open group where you can have no knowledge or you can have some knowledge, but we all get together and we learn how to read the tarot cards intuitively in a friendly and safe environment. So that's a very exciting new meetup that's coming up. I have my tarot trilogy of courses, so that's a good study as well. 3 different courses which can be done separately or as a trinity again. One about tarot, one about tarot and astrology, and the other one adding some numerology as well. So a lovely trinity there that you can engage with. I have 2 lunar planner courses, one more intuitive and the other one more technical, and a Celtic Feng Shui course, which is how to use the elements and the herbs and crystals to cleanse your space. And finally, I also have my online membership group, which is wonderful. It's growing as it should. It's a very warm environment, and we're discussing subjects as they come up and how they relate to our personal chart. So for just £5 a month, you can engage in a lovely community and learn astrology as things arise, where they fit for you, what the elements of your birth chart are, and engage in other interesting, relevant discussions. So lots of opportunities there, as well as coming for a one-to-one in person or on Skype. It's back to school times, so if you do feel like engaging with your own chart or with the tarot cards or putting both together or learning the great art of astrology over the winter months, then please do contact me, zoehines7@gmail.com.